and Bobby Brown was getting played like with Milli Vanilli and other pop acts on like CHR radio stations.
Well, there was Belle Biv DeVoe. I mean, it was just a very interesting period, but every period has its own fantastic artists that somehow get out there one way or another. And I can't tell you anything more than we had a lot of label deals with smaller labels, some of which went on to great success, others not so much. There was, for example, Radioactive Records with Gary Kurfürst that went on to Discover Live that sold many millions of albums. There was Impact Records with Alan Kovac. There was 415 Records. There was Uptown Records with Andre Jarrell. There was Gasoline Alley. There were all kinds of little label deals going on then, which I think was very interesting and healthy for the business, because those smaller labels tend to have an easier time going out and finding the talent. They're closer to the street. They can sign it more quickly. They can turn around a record and get it out on the street. That, to me, is the mark of a true entrepreneur. When you work at a major label, it takes so long. I mean, it takes 3 months just to have a record properly processed and put out on the streets, because there's a lot of setup time that has to take place. You have to make sure there's space on a shelf. You have to make sure that you've ordered your advertising several months in advance. If you get a cover of Rolling Stone, that doesn't just happen overnight. That's many months of preparations. And so, major labels are by their very nature not equipped to move very quickly, unlike the independent labels, which can turn on a dime. So, very interesting times then, but I think even more interesting times now. And as tough as things are in the record industry, proper, I should say, there's so much opportunity out there right now. There's so many things happening. I'm beside myself with all of the opportunities that are being presented to me on almost a daily basis. You really have to pick and choose what it is you're going to focus your time and attention on, so you don't go crazy and end up, doing too much and getting nothing of any significance done. So, very interesting times. Very interesting times.
And now, the one thing I think that the internet has opened up the floodgates for is a lot of do-it-yourself grassroots movements, because it allows you the opportunity as a new artist or somebody that's locally that wants to get national recognition to already establish yourself a fan base and to come pre-packaged already for the label.
That can be done, and there's something to be said for that, because most labels, major labels, aren't really going to take an artist that doesn't have something already going on in a fairly large to medium large way. But once, as an artist, you've already gotten yourself to a certain level, the truth is that you then have the power to do a great deal more than you would have been able to do in the past. At that point, you have something you didn't have before. You have leverage. You have the ability to negotiate a much better deal for yourself, to maybe get distribution. But it's a decision that everyone has to make at that juncture in his career, whether he's going to try to go with a major label or not. And there are pluses and minuses with each different scenario. It depends on what type of artist you want to be. It depends on how much you want to earn. It depends on whether you want to tour the world. It depends on a number of factors. So, but those opportunities are available to people who work hard and who have talent and who really put together a plan and can draw fans. I mean, ultimately, we can talk about music on two levels. We can talk about the artistic value of it and the artistic integrity and a wonderful message, which is all great. And the intrinsic artistic value of music can't be measured in words or dollars. But that's one side of the coin. Then on the other side of the coin, you have the commercial value of music, and the one doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the other. But with the commercial value of music, that ties into your ability to draw a crowd. All right? The commercial value of any enterprise, whether it's a song or a painting or a piece of art or a movie, lies in its ability to draw a crowd and to get people to pay $1 or $2 or $8 or $10 or $20 or $30 for it. Once you have that, once you have the ability to draw a crowd consistently and have them pay money for some service that you provide, let's say a song or a show, selling a ticket to a show, you have the ultimate power. At that point, honey, you can write your own ticket. All right? right? And at that point, people are going to be coming to you and are going to be wanting to work with you, and you're going to have you're going to be in the fantastic position of being able to choose who you want to work with, as opposed to begging people to listen to your tape and call you back.
Right, because now gone are the days of handing your demo to somebody, to a label, or walking up with a demo. Those days are gone. And also, too, I feel it's definitely important for new artists to educate themselves about the business, because I've been doing this show for 4 years and interviewed several artists that were once on big name labels and heard the same stories about, bad contracts, bad record deals, and somebody taking more percentages than what they should have had. And things of that nature. So I think it's definitely important to be self-educated so that you can be more aware.
The first thing you want to do is read as much as possible, and nobody has the excuse anymore to be ignorant, because you've got everything a click away on the internet, okay? You've got our website. We've got more resources and information than you can shake a stick at. And apropos, Jarrell, of deals, if you don't mind me mentioning this, we have a very successful series that we do live in all of our chapters in New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, all over the place. The series is called Art of the Music Deal, What Happens Before You Sign on the Bottom Line. And what this series is mock negotiations, live mock negotiations of every major deal out there. We've had live mock negotiations of record deals, of producer agreements, of distribution agreements, of digital distribution agreements, of management agreements. All of that information is available online. We record all of the audio and make it available for people. And in most cases, we also include sample copies of the agreement itself. So all of that information is available to people to study, to read up on, to understand. And anybody who signs a deal or an agreement without fully comprehending what it's about and seeking professional advice, he's got what's coming to him, because you can't take risks with your career like that. You have to walk in with your eyes opened and informed. And they'll give it to you. They'll give you great things in paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4.